function defines a mapping from a value of an input type to a value of a return type. The types are specified in the type signature. For example, the function signature for the factorial function we saw before takes an int and returns an int. This means that the function will accept any int value as input, and the return value can be any int as well. A partial function is a function which has no result for a valid value of the input type. There are a number of partial functions which are defined in the prelude, many to do with operations on lists. For example, the head function takes in any list and returns the first item in that list. So the head of a list containing 1, 2, and 3 would be 1. The head of a list containing the two strings hello and goodbye would be hello. But what happens when we try to find the head of an empty list? Well, if you try to do that, it will blow up in your face. Your whole program will crash and it will say, exception, empty list. Why does it do that? It does that because head is a partial function. It is only defined for a partial number of possible inputs. And when it gets an input for which it is not defined, it throws an error and blows up. In this case, it is not defined properly for an input of an empty list, so this happens. Another partial function is the last function which gets the last item in the list. It suffers the same problem that for an empty list, it will blow up as well. This is because it is a partial function too. Most people argue that partial functions like these in the prelude are a mistake, and instead use safe alternatives. We will look at some of these safe alternatives in later modules. In reality, there aren't that many partial functions in the prelude, so it is not that much of a problem. And they serve as a useful teaching tool to teach students about partial functions anyway. For now, just remember that functions that you define should not be partial. That is, they should be defined so that they handle any input value of the input type. They should be total in their definitions. This video is a clip from a longer video for beginners starting with Haskell. Check that out if you would like to see all of the content. Also check out the entire Introduction to Functional Programming with Haskell course on the Learn channel. See you next time.